What's up, Reapers? Welcome back to the Crypt. I actually have a stack of albums here, and these are all death metal. These are some of my favorite death metal releases, period. These are not all of them. I'm missing quite a bit. However, um, these are just a few of them. Um, it ranges from brutal death metal to technical. I don't have a lot of melodic death metal, so I didn't really include any of that. Because I don't even have like my favorite In Flames album, uh, or Arch Enemy. Um, I'm also excluding Black Death because that's different. Um, I think a lot of these people will probably expect, considering I show these like every other week. I didn't have. I mean, this is one of my favorite albums from this band. Just to kind of jump right into it. However, this is probably one. It's right now. It's probably my favorite death metal album. Um, Aborted with a retro gore. Um, I have quite a few different releases from them that I consider a favorite. Gormageddon, um, this Mania Cult, um, and there's one other one, and I'm blanking on the name. It's got like a orangey look to the logo, but it's like a very dark album. I'll remember it when I get it. Um, but this album was one of the first death metal albums I ever heard, and I remember when I got it in the mail finally, I was like, holy shit, I finally got this. And then it was like Classy Metal, Lonnie had posted it, and that's actually what sent me into ordering this. Um, I love the Raise the Dead, Kill the Living right there. And next up, one of my favorite tech death bands, very jazz influenced. Everyone should know this. This is Atheist with an unquestionable presence. Holy shit. I actually have a shirt from the first time I saw them with this art. And I remember telling my dad, like, I was struggling to find their stuff. And that concert, they didn't have anything. And I would have gotten the other stuff at the show with Cynic had I been able to, but this is by far not only my favorite Atheist album, but one of my favorite death metal albums ever. I mean, Mother Man, in Incarnation's Dream, the part that goes reroute your, don't dignify a false eye in the sky, reroute your path with the blink of an eye, something like that. Oh my god, that line right there. And I remember I was listening to this at work for a solid month straight after that show. Um, and the fact that I actually got to meet and get a photo with Kelly Schaefer was an absolute honor, dude. Um, First time I stage dove, at first I kind of had to get help down because I was like, I froze. I didn't want to have security get me, and I didn't want to be walked down. So it just kind of went, and then I went back up, and I went, well, but I messed up. But Kelly was really nice. He was like, "Yo, Next time you do that, just swan dive. And few months later, I went to see the Sons of Swarm to the Grave tour. That was kind of a side tour when they weren't playing with Carnifex, and yeah, that was I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Now I was gonna yell for Atheist, but the band was playing, so I didn't want to just do that and be like, but I did get to talk to the vocalist and be like, next up, 2 Cannibal Corpse albums are up here. It really depends on my mood, but one of them I prefer slightly more. But first up is the first death metal album I ever heard and bought, that being Tomb of the Mutilated. I think everyone can agree that Hammer Smash Face is probably one of the best songs in death metal. I know some people are like, well, actually, they have better songs than Hammer Smash Face. I agree. However, there's a reason that's their number 1 hit. But my favorite on here is probably Necropedophile by Main, Addicted to Vaginal Skin, I Come Blood. Excuse me. Intros ripped from a virgin's cunt. Everyone knows this album, and for good reason. But my favorite Cannibal album overall is probably Evisceration Plague. I mean, you got Priest of Sodom, Scalding Hail, To Decompose, Evisceration Plague. My favorite Cannibal song, well, it's tied between Necropedophile and Shatter Their Bones, but I would probably choose Shatter Their Bones over Necropedophile, but it's 2 different versions of the band, and excuse me 1 minute. I've been drinking no sugar pop soda, whatever you want to call it. Next up is Death, Scream, Bloody Gore. I actually have a back patch waiting to be put on a old school death metal vest. My dad would say that he would make a death metal vest and include a bunch of shows. I'm like, well, to be fair, we go to a lot more deathcore shows than straightforward death metal. And he's like, but he's in the same family. Yes and no, but I'm not getting into that. But this has the first death metal song I heard without really knowing what it was, so I don't really count it, that being Zombie Ritual, because I heard the down, but the vocals kind of turned me off, so I kind of just stopped listening. So I kind of don't count it as the first one I ever heard. I count Hammer Smash Face because that's what kind of drew me into death metal. But I mean, this, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, why don't you include like Spiritual Healing or Sound of Perseverance? And don't get me wrong, Sound of Perseverance is one of my favorite albums. But when it comes to death metal, I prefer Scream Bloody Gore. I think it's much more of a death metal album than Sound of Perseverance, personally. I know that might sound stupid, but yeah. Next up are 2 Dying Fetus albums. And again, this is kind of like Cannibal Corpse, where it depends on the day, but first up is Killing on Adrenaline. This is my favorite when I want the more, I don't want to say, like, they are brutal death metal, but like they went very technical, and the next one will explain that. My shirt should actually, hold on. My shirt should tell you what it is, but I mean, this has one of my favorite fucking songs, if not my favorite song, Fornication Terrorist. But I mean, everyone knows this album, and for good reason. an absolute fucking classic. Um, it has that much more straightforward, brutal death metal sound from them that I like, but this album is probably my favorite overall. It's my favorite Dying Fetus album. Um, well, it's from them. Uh, but Descend into Depravity. I have the Your Treachery Will Die With You. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the back on where it says Your Treachery Will Die With You, but this is absolutely my favorite Dying Fetus album, almost not 9 out of 10 times. Um, I like how technical everything is. I like how it's not just um trying to be like, oh yeah, let's just be like as uh I don't want to say edgy, but definitely not as try hard with that, if that makes sense. Next up, Entombed Left Hand Path. I don't think I need to say much. Um Also, if you're wondering why I don't have Carcass on here, I don't own a whole lot of Carcass. Otherwise I would. I mean, I do own what the fuck is it? Necrotism, necroticism. But I just love the buzzsaw on here. Um, I guess an honorable mention before we continue on would be Necrotism and Surgical Steel by Carcass. Those are two of my favorite Carcass albums. And then my overall album from them and favorites is Reek, or not Reek, Symphonies of Sickness. But yeah. But next up, Immolation, Dawn of Possession. I think the fact that I even have a fucking beanie from these guys should tell you that I just love Immolation. Just a fantastic fucking album, and I know Killbot doesn't watch my channel, but because of him, I got into them. I commented, hey, what are some of your favorite Immolation and Killing Joke songs? And that's what ended up setting me on the path to listening to them. Next up, I don't really own a whole lot of this band. I only own one other album, and I know a lot of people will say, wasn't that your favorite? Um, I mean, yes and no, but I think this one just is a bit more up there, and I know it's a lot of people's favorite, Altars Madness. Um, I would have done Covenant or might have been Covenant or whatever. I don't. I'm blanking on the name of the album. It might have been Covenant that I'm thinking of, but this is definitely up there. So, and it's one of the first ones I ever heard. So, I mean, to be fair, and I'm not doing this on what my favorite from the band is, but as you can see, I have a few. But I mean, you got Immortal Rites, Maze of Torment, Chapel of Ghouls, Visions from the Dark Side, just a bunch of fucking classics. This is the Photogenic Range reissue that sucks absolute dog shit in the artwork department, because like, why would you do this? I don't fucking know. Next up is some more tech death. Nile, Athphalic. I've said so much about this. I mean, Athphalic, papyrus containing the spell to preserve its possessor against attacks from he who is in the water. As he creates, so he destroys. I love that. ending. Next up, more Tech Death. I love this band. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see these guys in a few days, which breaks my fucking heart, dude, because I love these dudes to death. Origin with Echoes of Decimation. I know a lot of people will be like, why isn't it Antithesis? To me, this is just like that perfect album. It's the one I go back to the most. And, I mean, it has Staring from the Abyss. I mean, that song, man. Next up, Possessed, Seven Churches. I don't think I need to explain much on this. Holy Hell and Fallen Angel are definitely highlights. I mean, I love every fucking song on this. The Exorcist was one of the first death metal songs I heard as well. And finally, going back to some more brutal death metal, Suffocation, Pierce from Within. I know a lot of people will be like, why isn't it Effigies? Effigies is good, don't get me wrong, but Pierce from Within not only was my first Suffocation album, it was kind of my first like slam album with songs like Thrones of Blood, Deaths of Depravity, the title track, Torn into Enthrallment. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Hopefully next time I do a favorite death metal albums list, you'll be able to see a lot more. You'll be I'm hoping to get some more grindcore, so I can do a grindcore list, black metal, same for black metal, maybe thrash metal if I want to do that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, keep it grim.